Push it to the limit. News.
To the limit.
Somebody buy sushi or poke.
Sushi.
Sushi all the way.
Sushi all the way, you dumb bitch.
Can't do poke too much.
An Army Ranger's hellish training is apparently to blame for turning him into a criminal.
What?
Let's hear this story because there has to be a lot of detail.
Interesting.
Alright, so this story is about Alex Bloom. He's 30 years old.
B-L-O-M or B-L-U-M-E?
B-L-U-M.
Oh, I thought it was B-L-U-M-E.
Oh, then I guess it's Blum, right? I said Bloom.
Who knows? You don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know these things.
Plum, but Blum.
O-O-O-M.
Bloom.
So he was Army, private, first class. Does that mean anything to you?
It's just like a low rank.
Damn, that sounds gangster as fuck for a low rank.
Well, this is before the dishonorable charge.
His life is over.
Sorry, discharge. I said charge. So his cousin Ben Blum he has written a book about him called Ranger Games: A Story of Soldiers, Family, and Inexplicable Crimes.
It's really long.
It describes Alex as a good kid with a dream to serve his country. Ending up being a criminal. The story begins back in 2005 after graduating high school. He reported to his basic training at Fort Benning in Georgia. After like 5 months of what he describes as hell is what really broke him down, is what he says. So Alex told his cousin Ben this, quote, "The non-stop continuous negative reinforcement erases any and all self-confidence you once had. You firmly believe that you can't do anything right. You believe that you are incompetent and unworthy of anything."
Sounds like an Asian house.
Yeah.
So then after he did his boot camp, he returned for the Ranger Indoctrination Program, aka RIP. So this program is designed to weed out the weak, and only a small percentage actually make it out to be Rangers. So the way he describes his experiences, he says that privates were ordered to run a quarter mile in freezing temperatures while wearing only cotton fatigues, to go gather wood bundles while wearing heavy packs, and then they would repeat this over and over only to stop and have to crawl through fire ant infested ponds.
How do fire ants swim in ponds?
Amphibious ants?
They float.
You'll float too. You'll float too. You'll float too. You'll float too.
They all
Do they
grab
get
each
like
other.
ant bags and just throw it in the pond so people get
Maybe they
fucked
have
up?
it.
These are ant rangers.
They hold each other like, and they make a little island, and you. push
Yeah,
it down.
during Harvey.
Yeah, that
they were
shit's cool.
huge. Yeah.
So then they're saying that they couldn't sleep for 24 hours, and then when they were finally able to sleep, they'd be woken up 5 minutes later and then go through the quarter-mile trek all over again. They had to wear wet clothing for 24 hours, and then when they were given dry clothes, they would be then ordered to jump into a pond 5 minutes later after getting the dried clothes.
That's hardcore.
Drill sergeants would urinate in that pond, and the soldiers would still have to go through it, and they'd be vomiting, but they still had to carry out their exercises covered in like the urine and the vomit. And he was saying that he began to use Tabasco as eye drops to stay awake because it was just so intense.
That's unique.
And then he began hallucinating, and then he also told his cousin this. "Before I joined the Army, I was vibrant, funny, easygoing, loving, and independent. When I got my tan beret, I was a shell. I was an angry, testosterone-driven prick. I was unable to value human life."
Wait, so he got the bird as in he passed?
Apparently he did.
I mean, I think it's all about expectations too, because I'm not in the military, but I know what I'm getting myself into if I sign up for things like this. Like, I don't know what people think when they join these more specialized groups and all that stuff, unless it's like Army engineering. I mean, your sole purpose is to kill. That is your job. So you're supposed to be desensitized to murder, because you don't want a guy that has a conscience when he's out there and it's like,
You have to make decisions.
there's a kid with a bomb, what do? You know, like, you gotta kill the kid, right? Like, that's just the unfortunate reality of war.
I think it's just a lot of them went into this thinking that they can handle it, and just they simply can't, and they just break.
He was saying since he was a really little kid, like it was his dream to like serve his country, and like he just saw it as like, you know, his dream.
Probably the recruiters probably did a bad job of explaining the expectations too, because Army basic training isn't known to be hard, but the Ranger School is. So if he's already complaining about basic training, I think he's probably already not fit for Ranger School, because most people don't get broken down in Army basic training.
Oh, he was talking about boot camp broke him down because of the.
Was that boot camp and not ranger
When he
training?
left basic, he was already like, all the negative reinforcement happened there. And then when he graduated, I think he was already disgruntled. Now when he sent him to ranger school, that's when like the stuff gets really hard, which is supposed to be because it's like special operations.
Yeah.
Like rangers are people jumping out of airplanes doing crazy shit. Like you're supposed to stay awake for 24 hours. Like pee should not bother you. Like fire ants should not bother you. Like that shit is like some crazy shit.
Are they allowed to, the sergeants, pee in the pond while you're peeing?
Once you go into like the special operations stuff, they do a lot of crazy shit.
Isn't that more like a
And pee is
kind of
actually
unethical?
nothing. From their perspective, these drill sergeants that are in ranger school, they're also rangers. So what they're trying to do is produce other people that they can trust to watch their back.
Yeah.
Because they're thinking, if I'm doing this special operation and I'm like, let's say I'm training you, I want to make sure I'm gonna put Gina through hell so that I know I can trust Gina in 3 months that she's gonna watch my back the way I need it to be watched.
Because think about it, do you want a ranger who pisses himself on accident? And that's not the problem. The problem is he's so uncomfortable from the urine that he fucking smells on himself that he can't even focus on his duty.
Yeah.
I think
Dude.
on his job, you know, like the way that this is written is like, oh, it was horrifying. I had to go through this and that. And it's like,
It's normal.
You weren't incarcerated in a place where, you know, it's like you signed up. You signed up to be a professional killer. You signed up to do that. And you signed up to be in a specialized unit that has to deal with stressors that are beyond the average, you know.
Because the way this is written, I feel like it's trying to gain sympathy. But for me, because I revere Army Rangers at such a high fucking caliber, it's not me as a civilian saying, I don't want to hear that shit. I'm saying like, yeah, you're the fucking shit. You're supposed to go through shit like that. That's how I view Army Rangers, like special, you know, everybody in that caliber, when I hear them go through that, I'm like, you're not a normal human being, and that is the caliber of military excellence that you are.
That's the kind of guy I want protecting our nation, because I was like, I don't want a guy that gets captured and then he breaks under a little bit of pressure.
When someone like, he sees a fire ant, he tells all the secrets.
I don't want someone who's crawling through the trenches and he gets bit by a fire ant and then he goes, ooh, hold on, I got a little ouchie. You know, like I want tough guys like that can handle all of that. And also, I want them to handle that during a test area, not when they're out in the battlefield. You know, like you want guys that are like hardened before they go out there.
Because it also sounds like because Army Rangers are revered, like it sounds like someone going to Harvard and saying they had a really hard time.
Yeah.
Like, well, this is like the best school in the nation. You're supposed to have a very hard time here.
I feel like he's trying to demonize them when really you're just not cut out for that.
Because there's thousands of other Rangers that come out just fine. They have families. They're able to be compassionate.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with, you know, you're just not cut out for that. That's just simple as that.
Yeah, it's like mixed, like, you know, like people who do mixed martial arts at the highest level, right? The type of training that they go through is not the same type of training that people do at the gym.
Yeah.
You know, so if a mixed martial artist comes out, he goes, dude, you know what my coach made me do? He made me run up this hill with a bunch of weights. I got beat up, punched in the face. For me, I'm not, that doesn't gain sympathy for me. I'm like, no, you're a fucking elite athlete. Yeah. Like, I expect that.
I don't feel bad for you.
Like Joe said too,
So you signed
you're
up
not
for it.
incarcerated. It's your choice.
If you sign up for Planet Fitness and they said they made you,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah, that's crazy. What the fuck?
Welcome to Planet Fitness. Hey, boom! You know?
But if you're like trying to train for like the heavyweight world title, then I'm like, I think you should do more of that actually.
Say, for example, you're going through the ranger training and then you seriously do reach your breaking point. You can't do it.
You can quit any time too, by the way.
They let you quit.
Yeah, you just go back to being a normal army person. But then he already was broken after basic training.
What I'm getting from this is he's kind of blaming that type of programming to make him so desensitized to where he's okay with doing crime now
Yeah.
and being shitty to human beings.
Yeah, so then that's when the story goes into
That's a deeper mental problem.
That's his problem
Yeah.
though. I mean, to me it's kind of like if that was the truth, then everyone that is a Navy SEAL, Army Ranger, whatever specialized
they should go
person
through that and more.
is a psychopath that can kill every civilian.
Yeah, I think
you know, like
the ranger school might have added to it, but it was something deep rooted in him for a
Yeah.
long time. And he can't solely blame that on ranger school.